Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to a brand new episode of 343. I'm your host, AF, joined by my lovely co hosts, as always, Nikita and Riyaz. How you guys doing?
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me back, guys. Been good. Been good. Always good after 4-3 win, even if it's at home to Fulham. But
Yeah.
yeah, feeling good.
Yeah, Riyaz, I'll get to you in a bit. Nikita just got back from a lovely vacation, so that's why she looks so rested and all vacationed up
Yeah,
with the festive season approaching still.
yeah,
Getting
yeah,
ahead of the
yeah.
game.
It was weird, like watching or getting like updates like on your phone or not being able to watch games or it being like the middle of the morning and then games kicking off and stuff. So that was quite an interesting experience being so far behind. But yeah, happy to be back. Happy to be kind of in the same time zone and watching games at reasonable hours now again.
Nice. Riyaz, how you been doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. Nice and warm. Enjoying the heat. And the fact that we have football every day almost for the couple of weeks is very nice. So enjoying it. Quite nice.
Yeah, and I'm just going to stay on you a bit after this past weekend. Um, we all predicted. I think I predicted a 2-1, and yourself and Jason, you guys predicted a big City win. You just wanted one goal, if I can recall. But yeah, that result, I think it shocked most of us. There was some good resilience from the Spurs players. Just walk us through that as a sort of a review.
I'll try. I think the first half we can just gloss over as best we can. We can just say it was lucky that we were only 1 goal down after the first half because it was a bit ridiculous. We conceded so many chances, most of them without like through our own problems, through our own making. And yeah, it was very interesting to. Ange said he was going to play the same type of football, and we tried. We really tried. In the first half, we didn't succeed. They well, like I struggle to say they played us off the park, but they created more chances because of the way that we played. They pressed us. They press. I will say that the press was unbelievable in the first half. They pressed us really, really well. It was actually because of that the four-person press that we couldn't get past. We couldn't get around, and we struggled. We scored a counter goal, which was a really good goal. And that was it. After that goal, Son immediately scores our own goal, and we were under the cosh again. And for the rest of the half, we were nowhere to be seen. We tried to play our football, but we had 35% possession, and they just kept pressing us, and we didn't have the quality to get past. And in the second half was so much better. I mean, it was chalk and cheese between the two halves. I don't know how that happened. It was a great change from Ange, to be honest. I think to bring on Weiberg and take off Gill, put Kulusevski back out on the right, gave us a lot more stability. And it kind of made them play in a different way as well. They stopped pressing with four people because we were able to, in the first minutes of the half, to play around it without any luck, I suppose, going forward. But we still were able to play around it. So they dropped people a bit deeper, which gave us more space then to play out. And we scored some good goals. I mean, the first one it was a good goal because we pressed high. So that our high line was there. Highland was on the halfway line, and Davis beat him to the ball. So because of that, because of how high we played, Davis beat him to the ball, and we scored on because of the press, basically. Because basically what they did to us, we did to them in the second half. And then the last goal. Well, let's go to Basuma first. Trying to play the way they want to play, keeping the ball for 6 years, trying to beat three players at once. That was a bit ridiculous, but that's how the manager wants him to play, I guess that's how they must play. You know, there's an easy pass out to the left back, there's an easy pass out to the winger, but he comes into traffic and they steal the ball and we concede. And then, I mean, like you said, the resilience at the end of the day, I guess. Nikita's favorite boy, Brennan on the wing, he's been great so far. He's genuinely I like the look of him a lot. He's still young, but he's going to be great. I can see it already. Like he shows all the signs of being a great winger. So very excited for him and his future, providing that ball. And Kulusevski actually, after the game, he was speaking about how kind of they're trying to get him to attack the box more, because as a winger, he likes staying out wide and he likes receiving the ball to feet and doesn't really get into the box enough to kind of win the balls from the crosses coming in. So happy for him to get a shoulder goal, I guess. I'm going to call it a header, a shoulder goal. But they all count in the end. So I guess a 3-3 draw is more than we, I wouldn't say more than we deserve, but more than we expected. So we got a bit lucky to not have gone down so much in the first half. But the second half, I think we played really well. We had more possession. We went to the Etihad, and in the second half, we had, I think, 55, 57% possession, which was ridiculous. So proud of the boys in the second half. Just after we stuck in the game. And yeah, it was interesting. 3-3 draw, taking points off City for the top of the table, for the likes of, you guys, Arsenal and Liverpool. So, I mean, it's a good day's work.
Well executed, in my opinion.
Thank you. We'll take it.
I'm just gonna touch on a guy that I feel has been a bit underrated in the past 2 weeks, and that's Giovanni Lo Celso. In Madison's absence, I think he's quietly gone about his business. He's
not really that quietly, to be fair. He scored both.
Yeah, but I mean,
he's not getting any plaudits though. Yeah,
in 2 weeks here, and I mean, this one was like really good placement, but he's not getting the headlines, is he? He's playing under the radar, and I mean, I think he's perfectly fine with that.
Here's a stat for you actually as well. He didn't misplace a pass the whole game here. All his passes were
really.
That was crazy.
That's a stat, huh? And yet still Madison got more speak from Ange in his press conference yesterday than Salsa, which was like so shocking. I'm just like, can we stop talking about James Madison? Like,
I wouldn't mind that actually. I wouldn't mind that. All the injured players, please let them just stay out of my brain. That's the other thing also that I didn't say. Like we had 10 players out and we got a draw, so woohoo, I guess.
No, it's exceptional. I mean, I think I captained Haaland purely on the fact that I thought you guys were going to get roasted. Not because you guys are bad, not at all. Because of your injury list. I mean, it's just like your squad is big. So I mean, I think it was an exceptional result overall. I mean, obviously we bruised and battered them the week before. So I mean,
just for us, thank you. I appreciate it.
No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I think it was an excellent result. I mean, seriously, getting points at the end is no joke. I mean, it's not been done. So excellent result considering how threadbare your squad is. But I mean, we can't talk about a game without talking about the ref, right? Yeah.
If you can take that
again.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few VAR decisions that I really want to get into in this episode, and I mean that's one of it. But
that's
before
not a VAR decision, though. That's not a VAR decision.
Yeah, but it's just a shocking one.
Yeah, but you see, so here's the thing. Nobody's talking about people are talking about it, but it's something that you can handle, right? Like it's a human error. Like you make the mistakes. VAR is something that when you send it into the studio or the Stockley Park or whatever, they should be getting it right.
Yeah,
like that's why we complain about it a lot.
No, Riyaz, I completely agree with you. But I mean, I think where my perspective is on the referees is that the referee VAR is shocking. Yeah. It's shocking, and for me there was so much like garbage on Twitter that went around about how bad this was, and maybe it was a conspiracy against City. And I'm like, no, this is just Simon Hooper. He just cannot handle tough situations. He does this all the time. He can't handle big match situations. So for him to play advantage and then stop the play, it's actually just in his nature. Like that's actually just like if someone were to design a like personality trait for him, this is exactly what it would be. So I'm just like, you can't win. VAR and the way it's being run is rubbish. The on-field refs are rubbish. I mean, the linesmen are rubbish. Everyone is rubbish. It's just bad.
Just officiating in general.
Yeah, and I mean, like Grealish was through on like
Yeah.
I he was through on goal.
No, he was. He
I
was.
mean,
He was on goal. He was on goal. If
he
it was
He
me,
was going to get caught.
it-
He was going to get caught.
if it was
caught by
me,
who?
could, he could get caught, but it would have been a foul. It would have been a foul and a record, regardless,
Yeah.
right? I mean, and it would have been either a free kick or a penalty. For me, if it was any one of my front three, I would back them to score that. So I understand where City is coming from, but for me, it's more about. I think the result was a fair result. Don't get me wrong. I just think the refereeing is bad. I don't know. We need to figure out how to say that in different languages or something, or in different ways, because Jesus, it's awful.
Yeah, just to have a quick segue over to the Liverpool match, and I mean that one. I think in terms of entertainment for the weekend, that match had everything, literally from
Yeah,
start to finish. And I mean, it's carried on right until the very end with Riyaz's favorite player, Trent Alexander-Arnold, being the star of that show. Um,
yeah,
I don't know if you want to take that, Riyaz, or if we
No,
want
we'll let Nikita
Nikita
take
to.
that one. We'll let the
yeah.
starter
I
take that
think
one.
it was probably one of those games that could have ended 6-5. Probably disappointing for us to play a game like that so topsy turvy at home. But again, I think it's just the plight of the December fixtures. We saw Arsenal do the same thing against Luton Town, last night. So, yeah, ultimately, just that we came off on top, and your top and each and every single goal that we scored at least. The Fulham goals were a bit rank, but I mean, every goal that we scored was really, it's probably gonna be in a some sort of goal compilation for the month
Yeah,
of December. Because
bangers.
they were. I think that the McAllister goal is probably in contention because of the season. I think it was. I mean, no touch, just letting it bounce and then banging it into the top corner
Even
was
the
fabulous.
even the Indo goal, that was
And
like
it
that placement and everything. It
was,
was for a guy that hasn't
yeah,
scored in the Premier League before. Amazing.
absolutely fabulous. And under pressure, I mean, it was an equalizing goal. McAllister, you could say, in the Premier League because the season midfield is actually a thing. Um, there were no players around him, and he took a swag. 9 times out of 10 that ends up in the Kane Dalglish stand. For Endo, he's under pressure. There's players kind of running onto him, kind of to make it 3-3, 80 odds a minute. Yeah, it was a great goal. I was stoked. I'm happy to come out with the 3 points. I'm not happy to concede three. I'm not happy to lose Allison for a couple of weeks. I'm not happy to lose Shofter probably until the new year. That wasn't in that game, but still. And I think it shows. I kind of look at some of the goals we conceded. You think, Allison doesn't really concede that. And now Matt keeps out probably for the rest of his Liverpool career. So, yeah, tough game all in all. Not the greatest outcome. Not the game, and to be quite honest, in a season that's going to be quite tight, and by no means do I believe we will come close to winning the league this year. But I think in a league that's going to be quite tight, even in terms of top four. So goal difference is going to count this year. I'm pretty pleased to only get a +1 at home to Fulham. But anyway, I'll take the 3. We move on. New manager bounce tonight at Sheffield away, and we always struggle against newly promoted clubs. So we shall see.
Was there any point during I don't know. I don't think you watched it live. I think you just caught the highlights back, or I don't know how you ended up doing it. But obviously, like you had to have been following it somehow. Maybe you're getting like score updates or something like that. When Fulham took the lead, 3-2, I think it was in the 80th minute or 81st minute. Were what were your thoughts around it? Was it just like, oh, is it another one of these days? But I mean, at the back of your mind, you're like, this is Anfield. Then, like, I shouldn't even be stressed about it. We'll come away with a win at the end of it all.
Yes, I don't know where I was actually. I think I was at the beach, or I think I was like sipping my pina colada or something. But I was very calm because I was getting the score updates from like the Liverpool or the Premier League app or something, and I was just coming through, all the time because there were so many goals. And yeah, to me, at Anfield, we're infallible, right? I mean, we don't lose there. We don't lose there. So I was just like, even if it's a point, it'll be a terrible point, but at least it'll be a point. So when Indo scored a couple of minutes later, I was stoked. But then to see Trent come through with a belter, was happy. And at least he got awarded that goal. You guys see, he didn't get awarded his first goal.
No,
It was the own
yes,
goal.
he's an
the free kick.
OG.
The free kick was the own goal.
Did he get awarded it? Was it his?
No,
Oh,
the
thank
free
goodness.
kick was the own goal.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna go crazy
The
if
first
they
one,
awarded that to
yeah.
him. I was not happy because initially they gave it to him, and then afterwards I was like, please don't do this to me, right? And then he ended up scoring anyway, and I was like, fine, take it, ma.
You really don't like the guy, do you?
I didn't want to. I wasn't going to talk about him today. I had a different tactic. I was literally not going to say his name at all, and then I was just going to go on about the system that they now choose to play, because I'm going to indirectly say it because so like two of the three goals, 2/3, 66% came from the right side. Came from a right back's place where the right back is supposed to be. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying someone is supposed to be there. I'm not saying it's anybody's fault. And it's not his fault because it's the system that they're trying to play, right? It's basically, he's trying to adapt now to put certain players in different positions so that they can affect the game in a different way. And I just think that because of that, like it's teething problems, I think, is what I'd call it. So I didn't want to bring him up today because the duality of him is clear for everyone to see. But he did really well. He scored the goal. The BMT, no one can deny. The going forward part, no one can deny. So I think, and they played really, really well to. Sorry, Nikita typed something funny, so I lost my train of thought. Yeah, they did really well to come back at the end of the day and win the game. And like Nikita said, it's at Anfield. No one doubted it. Like they're unbelievable there.
Yeah, I think all this talk of him playing in
like,
midfield is a bit like too crazy though. Too crazy. I don't know what you guys think.
I just said like it's a teething problem. It's like a system that he's trying to play. Like Klopp is trying to, I don't know, try something different. By I guess, yeah, trying something different, which is putting more strain, I guess, on the centre backs, which is like maybe why Matip is now injured. But yeah, I think it's just teething problems, which is why the goals are conceded. But if it's going to get you more goals than you concede, no, I mean trying it. Teething problems, and the whole team will learn to play around it, I guess.
Yeah,
no,
that's true.
100%.
That's true.
But I think in the last international break, he was actually played in midfield for England. So I mean, if one manager is going to do that, then everybody's going to be like, oh no, you see, he can do it. He can play in midfield. He doesn't have to play at right back. Yeah.
But then they need to have a right back to play right back. Like you can play in midfield. It's fine.
And if you have a real six who's playing at 6, who's gonna cover your butt when you are expensive. You can't have McAllister. You gotta have like Declan Rice. It helps when you got Declan Rice covering your butt there,
What
like
a player that
he's
Yeah.
is.
legit. What a signing, guys. Yo,
Yeah,
also
I
underpaid.
think 105 was too little. I think that was a
Let's
steal.
not. I also said that in like jest last night, but like it's still 105 million pounds. It's a lot of
Yeah,
money, but he is just proving to be worth his weight in gold or
yeah,
pounds. I guess he is exceptional. What a guy! What a guy!
yeah,
What a
man.
player!
And my guy Kai Havertz coming good over there. You see
Jason, is
that,
that you?
guys? Don't disrespect Kai Havertz. Dude is going to be the savior for
He,
Arsenal. Just watch. Okay,
Oh
but
goodness,
I'm
oh
not going
man.
to speak about Arsenal now.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
just gonna flip on over to some VAR calls, which was back over in the Brighton game. Um, there were two of them. Um, yeah, the one is the penalty that was given after who was that? Craig Pawson. It was either ref in that match. I think it was Pawson. Um, he went over to the screen. I mean, that was that like a last man situation? Was it that one? Um, and yeah, he just changed his mind. He was like, okay, no, this is a penalty, and everybody knew that it wasn't a penalty. And then at the end of the match for Brighton, there was a handball that looked to
mm,
be a penalty, and
handball.
that wasn't given. Yeah, that wasn't
Yeah,
given. So I mean, like,
yeah,
what is happening? It's like they try every single weekend. Okay, let's try to outdo ourselves here.
Mhm.
What can we mess up further than what we have already? And let's just let's just try to win the clown award every week. It's like every referee just like tries to like throw their hat into the ring with this one. I know
yeah.
you had
But
some comments about it, Nikita.
yeah, but and I hate to belabor this point, right? But the fact that all clubs or the majority of the clubs did not come together and stand against the PGMR when that nonsense went down in the Liverpool Spurs game, with the VAR disallowed goal. It's almost like it's given them free reign to just go batshit crazy every week. Because honestly, that's what it feels like to me. It's like, actually, you know what? No one is going to take us to task now because we've gotten away with the worst possible thing that could happen is that the actual goal was disallowed using the system. So now anything we do from here is actually pales in comparison to that. So we are just going to stress test everybody's limits. And it's we go into Christmas, so everybody's going to watch anyway because there's nothing else to do because everybody's at home. So yeah, it's fine. And that's honestly how I feel. And now there's kind of like no way back. It's never gonna get better from here on in. Honestly. Every week it is a dog show. Every week and every week, we would maybe be talking about before in seasons prior, we would be talking about one incident, one massive calamitous incident. Now we're talking two a game. It's like two complete nut jobs a game.
Yeah,
At this stage, all the referees are like the same to me. It's like Pawson, Hooper, because they're all rubbish. Even like Mark Clattenburg is like even he's the best of the worst now. So I mean, not Clattenburg. Guys, what I'm talking about. But it's just like
yeah.
it's
Oliver.
it's just awful.
Oliver,
It's
Oliver.
Marco Oliver, yeah. Clattenburg
Yeah.
is the crazy
Rattenberg
one
is
who's now
lining
all in
his
the papers.
pockets over there.
Yeah, all in the papers now. But I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it's nuts, guys. I really I can't, and it's ruining the game. Like you saw how irate the City players got. With the Hooper decision, and that was a completely judgmental decision, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, when like with the two-person penalty decisions, I mean, those are for me clear and obviously wrong in both instances. I mean, geez, it's just you can't sit here afterwards and feel like your team or another team was all done by. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Y- Yeah, I
really,
don't,
it really sucks. It's really like
I don't understand how. I just watched it now, like while you were speaking. I just watched because I couldn't recall what the the decisions were, the VAR decisions. So I had to just take a look quickly, and I recall that first one. So the first one was the Chelsea penalty, the Milner challenge, right?
Yeah, it was Milner. Yeah. He
And
was like
that
a last man, sort of.
no, but like so the referee didn't give it, and then they sent him
Yeah.
over to the thing, and then he gave it afterwards. How do you give? I don't understand. Anyways, never mind. So it's supposed to be clear and obvious. That's what they say in order for you to change the decision. First of all, the referee gave it not a penalty. How can he then go to the screen, look at those images, and then want to reverse his decision? So it doesn't really become. So as a referee, you don't care that you have made the right decision actually on field. If they tell you to go to the screen, you have to reverse your decision basically. That's
mm,
ridiculous thinking. Like for real. I mean, that makes no sense. But then again, in the second one, I think he didn't give the
He gave.
handball.
No, he
Did he
gave
give
it.
it?
I think
Oh,
it
so
was
the same thing
given,
he
and
happened
then
gave
he
it.
here.
went,
Yeah.
and then he went to the screen, and then he reversed it, which is
Uh,
Oh gosh. That is just
but
I
it was
mean,
clear as day that it hit his hand, and
yeah,
I get the context of like obviously it's not intentional that you would want to handle the ball, right? Because there's three defenders, there's not a single Brighton attacker. I get it, but it hit his hand. He got an unfair advantage
yeah.
by hitting his hand, and Brighton deserved the penalty and a point. Frankly, they definitely deserved the point. So, yeah, guys, and ultimately, right? I know it's about more than money, but these decisions are costing clubs so much money. You know, think about Everton now, right? They're gonna get sued big time by all those clubs, Leicester and the like, who all got relegated and went down when they probably should have gone down in previous seasons. But now, surely that is directly correlated to the poor decisions that referees are making that are costing teams points, costing teams Champions League, qualification, or staying up from relegation. I know it doesn't happen, frankly, as often to the lower kind of relegation level teams, these bad decisions. But I mean, still, come on. Like,
what's the
at
solution
what
here
point are
though?
we as fans going to
That's
ditch
my
the
question.
PGMOL? Replace
And
the PGMOL.
with what?
They
With
need to
nothing.
be replaced with
What?
another body. Maybe it is a body of international referees who are not influenced by
Anything.
local rivalry and tribalism and guys who have played, but the refereeing standards are not this poor in other leagues. A, because we watch other leagues. B, the refereeing standards are not this poor in the Champions League. So we know this is not a refereeing body issue. So it is clearly an isolated issue in the world's biggest league, and the fact that the clubs and the clubs manage, the league. They all have a 20th voting share, and they're not doing anything to resolve it. Is shocking. Sorry, that is the end of my rant. I'm very sorry.
No, but you make so many good points. There's so many good points that you alluded to there, and I mean, like you said, in the other leagues we don't really see these mistakes, and in the Champions League we saw one of them in the Newcastle game last week. But how often do we actually see it in the Champions League? The referees, they're very disciplined, and it seems like they they don't take nonsense from any of the players. So whereas in the Premier League, I still think that there's a lot of favoritism when it comes to referees uh, being appointed games to teams where they are from. I mean, Anthony Taylor, that's right there. I mean, the guy's from Manchester. How many times doesn't he get United or City games? And I mean, there's so many of those that happen. Who's this dude that used to the crazy ref that used to ref for Spurs games?
Riley,
There we go.
Mike Riley.
I mean, that dude used to celebrate goals that when Spurs used to score it, you could visually see him celebrate the goal while he's refereeing the match. I mean, the the longer this goes on, the worse the the worse the refereeing and the standard of the refereeing is going to be. But yeah, like I mean, at the moment, if they're not being held to book, then they're just going to keep on getting worse. It's going to the
Yeah,
entire
and
level
I
is
mean
just
we've
going to
had
keep
Keith.
on dropping. And sorry,
Yeah, and we've had Keith Hackett on the show, right? We've had Keith
yeah,
Hackett on our show. I can't recall exactly which episode it is, but we can put the link in the comments below for guys to go and check it out. And I mean, he was the previous head of the PGMOL, and I mean, he talks the way he talks, and he's so insightful. I recommend you guys follow him on Twitter. I think he's Hackett Ref is his handle.
yep,
I mean, he's so insightful, and he talks about all the changes that he was putting in place which was like 20 odd years ago when he was heading up the PGMR, and kind of how all of that's been unwound, how disappointing the quality of the refereeing standards is now, and it doesn't come from a bad place. He's saying all these things from a place of wanting refereeing standards to improve because it is not at a quality or a level that it should be for this league. For any professional league, I reckon. So yeah, I don't know, guys. I think without some sort of like massive, because I mean we know that as fans we're not gonna switch off our TVs, right? I mean we're not gonna collectively get everybody to stop streaming and stop watching and stop buying, But I think at some stage we're gonna have to force our clubs in some which way or another to take action because we can't go on like this. And if similarly to when we stood up against our clubs, moving ahead with the European Super League, I think it could be some sort of, something like that. And I don't know what it's going to take. Is it going to take a player to get severely injured, have his leg hacked off in the middle of a game, and and then the
won't
referee
change anything.
offside? Yeah, I don't know. It's going to take something, but something big is going to happen, and it's going to be nasty. And that's the thing. It's going to be nasty, and then it's going to push our boundaries, and I think that's going to force the change. But until that happens, it's quite sad. I think we're going to be living with this level of refereeing for a while. So,
unfortunately, yes.
that's it.
But yeah, let's
Hmm.
leave that discussion and park it right there. As we wind down this episode, there is quite a big match coming up this weekend. It just doesn't end for Spurs, does it?
What is up
With
with the Spurs? We
Newcastle.
haven't spoken about United yet. What are you avoiding, AF? What's going on here? Tell
What?
me.
I just want to preview another game, and that's the
Okay.
biggest game that's coming up.
What do you mean? United Chelsea is tonight.
This episode won't be out in time for
Oh
United
yeah.
Chelsea.
Oh man. Fine. I accept.
If
Carry
we had
on.
recorded this last night, then definitely I would have brought up that match to preview. But this episode will only be out by tomorrow morning,
Okay.
so we have to preview the next big game, which is Spurs versus Newcastle. Is that at St James Park, or is it
I
at
think it's
the
I think it's
Tottenham
at
Hotspur
the
Stadium?
Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I stand corrected. I will find out shortly. But I think we're playing home. Thank goodness.
Okay, but yeah, just
Is that
off
a
the
good
back
thing?
of the United game. I mean, we all thought that. I mean, that was the third game that Newcastle played with the exact same starting 11, 3 games in a row, and I think the game last week Tuesday they didn't sub any of them, so all of the legs were full 90. I think it was 96 minutes or 98 minutes that they played. I mean, worn down, and they went up against a United team, just couldn't care less. I mean, half of them were jogging, but I mean, that just shows you how well oiled this Newcastle team is. And going up against that, is that something that you think will spur your team on? No pun intended. Um, but yeah, just give me some insight from your side.
Well, we have Romero back. I'm not sure if that is a positive or a negative. I suppose the positive outweighs the negatives there, as long as he doesn't put in some bone crunching tackles. I saw the way he looked at Matty Cash when Cash injured Bentancur again. I'm scared to play Aston Villa because I think Romero is going to go in with 3 feet and studs up all over the place. But it will be good to have him back, I guess, and not play four fullbacks along the back line. I think we'll be more solid. And look, we're playing against a bunch of robots, eh? We're playing against a bunch of robots. Two of the teams with the biggest, I guess the biggest injury and non available list. And they're going to come out with the same 11 probably. Like I said, a
Except for
bunch of
Nick Pope,
robots.
though. Nick Pope is injured, I think, for the next six months or so.
Yeah,
6
4
to
to
8
6
months.
months, I think.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Probably gonna miss the
Yeah.
Euros.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
So you'll have
Lucky for them,
Dubravka
I
and
guess.
go or Loris Karius. Like, I think they can play some rock, paper, scissors to see who starts.
As long as
They're
we
gonna
see, we
get
need
the
to test
Gaya.
them.
I'm telling you now.
What about
They're gonna
Ramsdale?
get
What
the
about
Gaya in before
Ramsdale?
And
If
you
they do
will
get the
literally
Gaya, I will be
I'm just gonna
cry.
disappointed.
cry.
You will sit on the pod and you'll just come on the podcast and rock if Newcastle sign the Gaya.
It's actually gonna. It
Eh?
might happen.
Look at him.
It's
I
very
know.
possible.
I
I
know.
reckon so,
That's
man.
why I'm so sad.
I reckon.
I mean, it's definitely possible. But I think, yeah, we're gonna play against a bunch of robots, and it's gonna be very difficult. Luckily, we're not playing away because I think if we were playing away, we would stand very little chance. Similar to City because of the way that the Newcastle press. But I think that just because of the way that and in fact, actually, they didn't stop running throughout the United game, so they still haven't stopped running since 3 weeks ago. All 11 men, they just continue running. I think they spend their off days running or something. But
Yeah, I mean,
they,
Almiron reminds me of that Energizer advert where the guy just has energy for days, just like keeps
it's
on
ridiculous.
running.
Even Gordon, like they all just Joe Linton. Even Joe Linton is a big lad, and he just continues running all the time. It doesn't make any sense. So I think that will be a test. I think that we will win it. Like hopefully, or it will be a draw. I think that if they weren't on this run, I would have said that they had a better chance of beating us. But because of Romero coming back, maybe Saul will also be back. But I think that depending on who starts tonight, it'll depend on also how much their legs are actually gone. Because we will play the same way. We will pass out on the back. We will force the press, and we will try and play around it as we usually do. So it's going to be an interesting game. I think keeping Gordon under wraps, and I think Pedro Porro has been really, really good this season so far. Surprisingly, even on the defense. I forgot to say that earlier. I think that he kept Doku in his pocket there. The only time Doku actually got away was when they were
He hit the
on the break,
crossbar.
and but then they were on the break, and Potter was up the field, and Davis was covering, so he didn't
Yeah.
beat Potter still at that point. I think Potter did really well to keep him covered. So that's going to be a good matchup to watch, Potter versus Gordon. And yeah, it'll be interesting game. What do you think, Abe?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a better contest than the one that we got last week against United. I think both teams will want something from this game, or they'll want all 3 points from this game. When two teams are that hungry, then it's a recipe for a really good product. And I think having somebody like Son, I mean, his leadership, you can see every single game, he wants to win. He, you see him like scolding his teammates out when things don't go right, but you also see him take like he raises his hand up when he knows that he's not doing something right as well.
Yeah, he
Um,
leads from the front.
so
Doesn't stop
yeah,
running either.
and I mean, like the team, even though like the team and the squad is a bit depleted on the defensive side, everybody's playing to their strengths, and everybody's trying to cover for those that know where their weaknesses are. So you're playing four fullbacks across the back four. Um, I mean, I saw Bissouma and Hoiberg. They were putting in some heavy yards against City because they knew where the weaknesses were at the back. So they knew that they had to like drop down a lot. And I feel like that's going to keep on happening because even though Romero's back, he's the only one centre back. They'll still play probably Ben Davies at left centre back, most likely. Um, but yeah, I think it's going to be a close contest, and I'm excited to watch it. Nikita, from a Newcastle point of view, where do you think this game? Where do you think the targets are going to be? Where do you think the game is going to be won? Where it's going to be lost?
I think the game might actually be lost on Thursday night at Goodison Park. I don't think that's an easy trip. I mean, I know you guys would, made sure to work of it, but I don't think it's as easy a trip as what people think. It's also, a commute because it's now two away games in what is that, 3 days? Because they're playing the Thursday and then the Sunday. The squad is exceptionally depleted. So, I mean, I know, you guys probably wanted me to talk tactics and how's good at that. I mean, I mean, we don't want to belabor the point about how tactically outwitted Ten Hag on the weekend because he did. I mean, he really, really did with a real depleted squad, and I think you'll always be that proficient. But I think I urge towards Riyaz's view here is that Spurs just have, I think, a better equipped squad, probably a more cohesive squad with Romero coming back, probably better defensively, probably more capable of dealing with the Newcastle attack. I mean, after rewatching the United Newcastle game or the Newcastle United game of the weekend, when you see Joe Linton perform that well, I mean, it's Joe Linton, guys. Come on, you really shouldn't be performing that well. So
He's
I
my
think they
favorite
will be
player.
really quite knackered. Eh?
He's
Joe
my favorite
Linton.
player.
Guys,
Yeah.
Joe Linton must be shuttlecock back into the championship, according to me, at least. But I really think they're really gonna be knackered after a trip to Merseyside this week. I think they'll have a tough go. Dyche and his boys look quite up for it. I mean, after what's happened, everything, the context that's happened, um, and I think you guys will just be far too strong for them at home. Coming off, I think what would have been a really great resilient performance at the Etihad, and probably another good performance in midweek. So yeah, I think sorry Newcastle fans. I think the good run is probably gonna come to a close, and then an exit from the Champions League and not even into Europa League for them, as deserved because they didn't deserve to qualify for the Champions League in the first place. Sorry, it's just a little
Yeah,
bit
that
of
was
praise
him.
from the Liverpool
Did
supporters.
you hear
That's
that was him?
that's harsh.
Ooh, it was I mean, it's fair. I mean, let's be honest. If Liverpool had qualified for the Champions League this year in lieu of Newcastle, we probably would have,
Then we would have been
walked
sitting here with a different
into the
discussion
knockout
because
stage.
then you would have been getting insane because of that penalty that was awarded against Liverpool. Because they should have been through, technically, Newcastle. On a technicality, they aren't through,
Mm.
which is a bit rough. Shame.
Yeah, no, no. I mean, but it would never come down to close margins against PSG. I mean, it's PSG. They trash in the Champions League, man. Come on.
Shame.
But I mean, yeah, I
That's
mean,
where the
all
conspiracy
still to play
comes
for,
in.
right? For Newcastle,
I guess
is
so.
it?
Sorry.
I'm not
But
sure.
I think isn't it Saudi versus Qatar? Like, I mean, isn't it just who has more oil? Um, so
Don't
yeah,
forget,
I don't really
don't forget
care. I mean,
PSG's.
if
Um,
both of them don't qualify,
yeah, don't
sorry.
forget PSG's owner. He's on the UEFA board. Just by the way.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, are they gonna qualify?
I
Are they
think they
gonna
topped the
qualify?
group. Because of that draw, I think they're
I think it will
sorted.
be PSG and Dortmund that would probably. Dortmund's like they just need a point in order to go through. So um, I think they're as good as through. But I think PSG will be the other team that will go through.
Yeah. Yeah, but also like I want to see Mbappe in the knockouts. I'm not really keen to see Joe Linton and Anthony
Kylian
Gordon with
Mbappe,
his
come on.
like terrible terrible Muppet, like playing in the knockout stages.
You'll see.
Um
You'll see
but yeah, I
Mbappe in
still
the Champions League knockouts next season when he goes to Newcastle with Anthony Gordon and Joe
Oh
Linton.
God, don't
ah God,
say that. And the
God,
Gaya.
please pay me.
Hey, hey,
And the
hey,
play with the guy.
hey.
Yeah, play with the guy. Now we talk.
Uh, yeah, let's just get some predictions before we wrap up. Riyaz,
Mm.
Tight game. Let's go 2-1. 2-1 Spurs. Quick and easy.
Nikita.
I'm gonna go with a proper 3-1 Spurs. 3-1 Spurs.
Well, I'm gonna go with a 2-2 draw. I'm gonna play it safe
That's fair.
this time.
That's fair.
I haven't predicted a draw in a while,
Okay.
so might as well just try and change things up a bit. Yeah, 2-2 draw
Is that
from my
because your
side.
team doesn't ever draw, eh?
Yeah, what
That's
is
because
up
your
with that?
team doesn't ever
That's
draw.
such a weird stat. I was looking at the table the other day. I'm like, what on earth? Like, what is happening here? Why do we have
I
a
think
zero here?
I think I tweeted it on Monday. I was like, is this a Premier League record? Like to go 14 games with no draws? Apparently it's not. So I don't know actually what I need to check in with. What is the record, Riaz? Do you know like how many games
I
you can
don't know
go in
specifically what the
season?
record is, but with one season, I think it was 3 seasons ago or 2 seasons ago, we went, I think, 20 games without drawing a game. We just either
Seriously?
won or lost games. Somehow we didn't draw ever. It was so weird. I didn't know how to handle it, to be
Wow,
honest. But the good thing is
Well,
that
that
like
is nuts.
draws are only 1 point. Like if you get more 3 points and you have losses, you get United, who are still in sixth. So it's
Oh,
good,
you
I guess.
sound like you're on the Nikita Koopman train of
I remember
probability.
Nikita mentioned that so many times that she would rather take a loss than a
Yeah,
draw any day.
yeah, yeah. Because the top 14 teams are more have a higher win probability than they do loss probability. So it's actually better to take a loss than it is to draw because you're more likely to win in the end. But anyway, that's a
I'm quoting you on that
white
next time
paper
we
that
lose.
I'll write one day.
Yeah, and as we finish up on that point, that is our episode. Thank you once again for joining us. This is episode 49. Next week is our 50th episode. And as you've seen on our socials, we are doing a 50th episode giveaway. We are allowing you the opportunity to win a football jersey of your choice. You get to pick whatever one you want, as long as we are able to find that jersey, and as long as the is stock available. But yeah, just head on to our socials at Sportycast. That's on Instagram, on Twitter. You There's plenty of ways to enter. You can enter by subscribing to this channel and just commenting below. I subscribed. It's as easy as that. But yeah, good luck. And yeah, Riyaz, Nikita, where can the people find you on socials?
I'm just on
I'm on
Twitter at
Twitter.
_Riyaz, I guess. I mean, if you really want to do that, then but follow Sportycast and get your stuff in, and we'll give you a jersey. It's easy. Do it.
Nikita?
Yeah. Please enter our competition. Find us on Instagram, on Sportycast, and on Twitter. And my handle is in the title there at Kita, and a couple of underscores. There are 3. Okay. Yeah. Looking
I
forward
was
to some
gonna ask.
engagement.
I was gonna ask you, but is it 2 or 3? Because I couldn't see.
Yeah.
So like,
3. 3.
I'm AF Parker 642 on all socials. Yeah. Come chat to myself, Nikita, and Riyaz on Twitter. We have some weird takes sometimes, but most of the times we are on point. And yeah, just like come have conversation. We are always available. But yeah, it's been good, and we'll see you guys next week for episode 50. Cheers.